Hey, what's up, guys? Very exciting day today in League of Legends DFS. We are all competing to win the share of 300k, including 100,000 bucks for first on DraftKings, FanDuel. Also, have some great contests tonight. So, I'm talking about how we can approach these tournaments, give ourselves the best shot at winning. And in this one, we got 23,000 people, and one third of the money is going to the person in first. So one of the main things we need to make a strong lineup, but one that not everyone's going to have. I'm going to show you guys how we can do that, starting with the basics. So on both DraftKings and FanDuel, what you want to do is you want to start off with a stack. So one team is going to score the most kills in their match tonight. This is the Chinese and Korean leagues, so they're playing best of three. And if you get lucky, you get a team that goes 2-0. Then all the players get a bonus for that unplayed game, which generally is higher than if they played and lost, as they would have to do in a 2-1 match. So I'm hoping the team that I stack goes 2-0, but if they go 2-1, there's still the possibility of putting up a lot of fantasy points. And we have my top stacks tool that I'm using to help me hand build these, because I want to really develop tools that help everyone. So most people hand build DFS lineups, so I'm going to show you how you can use this to hand build. So one of the main tools we have at our disposal are odds from sports books. That kind of gives us a starting point where we have an idea of how often each team will win. It's uncommon for a team to be the top scoring stack if they're not in a winning effort. But that's not all there is to it, because so what this is the ranking of how likely they are to be the highest scoring stack. A lot of it depends on pace in League of Legends. So the Chinese teams tend to be higher kills in the games. Now, we might not know which team's going to win, but we might know there are probably going to be more kills than in some of these other games. Like Genji, one of the lower kill teams on the slate, although they have the best odds of winning at 90%, they're only my fourth favorite stack as far as putting up the highest score. So there are a lot of factors. This is part of the Express membership on my site, where it's a little bit at a lower price point for hand building, so that you don't have to break the bank. Um, the full version shows the percentage that I think each team will be the top stack, and then the other stuff on here, the how popular the team is. Like top esports is number one, VG Gaming is number two, etc. And that's for DraftKings and FanDuel. And then I have rankings for each player. This tells you how much bang for your buck you're getting. It's on a 0 to 4 scale, kind of like grade point average. So top esports, pretty much number one in everything tonight. They're the best values. They have the highest ownership and the highest chance of being the top stack. So this is gonna be interesting, because if we stack this team up, they average $7,280 per player. So it may be difficult to stack the team up and still have enough money left to really do much. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try that out. So I have the starters listed here. The players that are most likely to be the highest scoring are the mid and ADC, because those are the more offensive positions. In an ideal world, I would want one of those captain, because then I can have two of those positions in my lineup and get 1.5 times the fantasy points. But they are the most expensive as well. So if you're picking the top team here, it is a little bit harder to take one of the best players as captain. And if you do, that might make it so you have a similar lineup as everyone else. So I'll try it out though. I'll pick Fadek. He's their highest damage position. I like him a little bit more than Knight, because I feel like this 82 point average versus 76, people look at that a little bit too much. Although ADC tends to be the most popular position at captain. So I'm going to start by stacking this team up. I think I want the support here, in this case QQ. For these Chinese teams, we know who's starting. I have it all here for you. For the Korean teams, we're guessing a little bit. So that is one advantage of stacking up this team as well, as we know who the starters are. All right. So I don't really want the team position as part of my stack because they don't really benefit from getting a lot of kills. So I'm going to leave off the team position. I'm going to just take some of the cheaper players here because I feel like this is the only way I can make this lineup work. All right, now I $5,800 left per player, but I have the two most expensive spots left. So let me go over to Rogue Warriors. I have them at 5,800 average. Maybe I can afford to make this lineup work. So Ruby, Zwuji, and then at 4,600 left, I can actually get them as my team. So this, in my opinion, would be like probably one of the strongest lineups you can make tonight. But because it fits so perfectly, like we have all the characteristics we want. If you just enter this tournament with this lineup, you're going to have this duplicated dozens, if not hundreds of times. And I like 100k and not getting 1k for finishing first. So this would not be a lineup that I would enter in a tournament of this size. It would be a very strong lineup in a tournament with a few number of people. So one thing that I could do to make this a little bit more contrarian is try to predict the upset like Griffin or APK. Another thing I could do is instead of stacking 4-3, I could stack 4-2. I guess I could pick Sunning as well. That would probably work out with the salaries. So I could pick one guy from Sunning. I'll pick Angel here. And then one guy from Rogue Warriors. So Zwuji. Now 4,200 left. So I can pick between Griffin and APK. Griffin has a much higher chance of actually winning tonight. Now this lineup, the problem with this lineup is the chance of all four teams that you have winning is quite remote. I mean, top Esports is a good bet, but Sunning and Rogue Warriors are about 3-1 and 2-1 underdogs. So let's multiply this all out. So 74% times 29% times 34%. Let me just, let's see if I can do 74 times 0.256 times 0.29 times 0.172. So I get about a 1% chance that these players will all win in their matches, which is pretty much a requirement for winning a tournament. 1% though is quite a bit higher than, so 1/3 of the money is going to first. So I can stomach taking a 1% to all win their matches to try to get a little different. So I do like this lineup a little bit better than the other one because I feel like this is going to be recreated much less often. So I thought maybe because top esports is so expensive tonight, it would be hard to build a lineup that checked all the boxes, but it actually seems like you can pretty easily. But maybe, personally, I like to enter as many lineups as I can, but most of you guys watching probably are entering anywhere from a couple to 20. I know there's some mass entry guys watching today, but most people don't mass enter. All right, so I'm going to pick a different stack. I'm going to look at the ownership rank and try to find where there's one that has a better chance of being the top stack than their ownership. So The ones that fall into this category are Oh My God and Damn on Gaming and Griffin, but 10 versus 9, that's not very appealing. So, Damn on Gaming, I feel like this matchup isn't particularly high pace, which is why they have a high win chance, but not a high top stack chance. But they have gotten some really high scores in recent weeks, so the upside is there. I do prefer going to the China teams, though. They do tend to score a lot more points when they win games. So I could go with Rogue Warriors or Oh My God for this lineup. Why don't I go with... I'll go with Rogue... Well, I haven't done an Oh My God lineup here. So let's do Oh My God. So at captain, I want... Especially because I'm going cheap on this lineup, I definitely want a mid or ADC. In this case, I'm going to take the mid laner. I feel like I've gone back at previous tournaments and looked at the ownership, and about 2 or 3 times more people pick a ADC as a mid laner at captain. So it is more contrarian to pick a mid laner, and mid lane is the second most likely position to score the highest on the team in general. Alright, so I'm going to take some of the other players from this team. I can take their ADC, support, and then jungle. Now I have a lot of money to work with, so this would be one lineup where I'm probably going to want to leave money on the table. Of course, that is another way to differentiate your lineup and get it duplicated less often. So what I'm going to do here is, Oh My God is 65%. So I can definitely take an underdog here and still have a great chance of winning. So, I definitely think Team Wii and Rogue Warriors are great options. I'll try a Wii stack here. Wii is 25% the win, but the team they're up against is the #1 highest owned team. And it is going to be a fast-paced game. So I'll just pick the Team Wii stack. And I have $3,900 left. I think this lineup probably will be duplicated to some extent, but it is quite a strong lineup. Maybe if I... the one position that you can take a one off a little bit easier without hurting your lineup is the team position, because they are less correlated with the kills in the game. So I wouldn't mind just picking another team off the board here. If you pick Gen G, your chances of being having all your guys win are still almost as good, because they are a 90% chance to win. But yeah, you could really pick any of these and have a good chance of being unique. I think that if you pick something a little bit off the board, the chance that you're going to be duplicated is a little bit less. So if I pick VG Gaming, great chance to win tonight, 71%. And because I have 4 guys, 2 and 1 as my stack, this is going to be a little bit less popular than the alternative. All right, let's go over to FanDuel here. So I have the FanDuel information here. Top Esports is actually less popular than VG Gaming on FanDuel. And that's because I assume they're priced really, really well. This would be a spot... I mean, they are my second favorite stack. But in this particular situation, I do like Top Esports a lot more, because my pace numbers are much higher for this team. And I did a video about pace yesterday for members. You can go to the Game Plan Esports section and access that video from yesterday. I think that's something valuable to look at as pace. And if you don't want to make your own stat or look at my top stack tool, They also offer props on some different sports books for the number of kills in the game. That's pretty much the same thing. All right. So I got my top esports lineup. Now on FanDuel, you don't have to pay extra for the star position. So you're really going to want to pick ADC or mid laner as your top position. If this is the highest scoring team, the ADC and mid laner probably will score quite well. So I'm just going to pick the highest scoring positions. So maybe I'll leave the support off this one. I'll go with the top, the jungle. And now I actually have the salary to probably pick a pretty good rest of my lineup here. So on FanDuel, you do need to pick 3 different teams. So the chalk way to do that, or the strongest way to do that, would be to pick a team as your one-off and then pair the other 2 players. So I am starting to run into some salary problems here, so I gotta be a little bit more clever with how I build this one. So I think let's see if I spend down a team. Wow, VG Gaming is way cheap today. So that is certainly a team that you gotta love here. I don't know if this lineup is actually possible to complete, but I'll try. So it looks like VG Gaming is actually like one of the cheapest teams tonight, even though they are such a favorite. So this is something where now I'm really having some trouble completing my lineup, just because of the salary. And this is clearly why VG Gaming is more popular than top esports. 9K for jungler does seem a little high, so maybe I will get the support from top esports instead, and that is QQ. Wow, 8K, that is a lot though. All right, so I'm not sure this will even work, because they do have a pretty high like minimum salary here. So like the problem that I'm running into is because I picked a mid laner at captain. I do need a mid laner. I need 2 mid laners, and that's going to be a lot more expensive of a build. Let me try this top laner. 369 is extremely expensive for some reason. All right, so I'm going to put in the top laner from a different team. Let's see. Holder starting for Rogue Warriors. That's an option. And then let me so I'm going to need to deviate from my strategy here, where I have the stack of 4 to actually complete this lineup. And let's see. Yeah, because I guess I can do this if there's an AK mid laner. But this guy UCal would be the only way to do this. I don't love this lineup at all, so this is definitely a fail. So based on this, I think that if you're going to stack up top esports, what I'm learning from actually attempting to do this is that you're going to have to put a cheaper position at captain. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to go support captain. That's the cheapest position, and it's not the most likely to be the highest scoring guy. But if I want to complete a lineup here, I'm going to need to make a sacrifice. So actually, let's see. ADC that ranges from... I guess I could have just switched out the ADC, because this position looks like it has a very wide range of different price points. Oh, sorry. Scratch that. All right. Because I don't really love support captain, I'm going to just pay down for a cheaper team here. So so this value GPA will help you kind of determine which those teams are. So OMG, pretty solid value. They are 4th in ownership, and I can make a lineup where the chance that they're the top stack is lower, but when they hit, I'm going to have stronger players than with this top esports stack. All right. Between the 5 positions, I really don't have a strong preference for which I will stack up, because really the correlation between the teammates, it applies pretty much uniformly to each position. So you're pretty much just relying on luck to get the right 4 out of 5. Since you're only leaving one position off, that isn't that hard to actually get right. Alright, so got my 4 stack. I'm going to just pick the ADC now because that's the most expensive one. That will give me an idea of how much I have left. So I do like picking the upset versus top esports. That that gives you a lot of leverage over the rest of the tournament. So if I pick these 2 players, Bishang, I'm avoiding the real chalky team in Vici Gaming, and I have a really strong team that I'm building here. And then to get a little bit off the board, I'm going to have to spend down a little bit at the team position. So I think that, let's see, going to Rogue Warriors can make sense because so many people are playing Vici Gaming tonight, and they do have a good chance of being the top stack if they hit. So if I'm fading them, I don't mind taking a one-off against everyone else. All right. Let me look real quick at this tournament structure here on FanDuel tonight, because that is going to determine the strategy a lot. This one is quite a bit less top heavy, only 10k out of 60k to first, so half as much goes to first, and there are fewer guys to begin with. So in this tournament, you can go off the board a little bit less because more of the money is being paid out to people who cash and don't finish in the top. All right, let me build a little bit more contrarian lineup here. So I mentioned how Vici Gaming is just so incredibly cheap tonight as the favorite, and that's going to drive a ton of ownership. So one strategy I like is just leaning into that and picking a stack against Vici Gaming. All right, so I mentioned how ADC is the most popular position at captain, and on FanDuel that's going to apply even more because you don't multiply that by 1.5. So because of that, I'm going to go with mid lane. I feel like my lineup is going to be less duplicated by a significant factor here. All right, so now this is a lineup where I don't feel it's going to be hard to complete this. So another team that is pretty good tonight is Damwon Gaming. They're a big favorite, and as I mentioned this, I don't know if I can actually build this lineup. It's too expensive, so never mind, scratch that. Alright, I'm going to need a cheaper stack. So I think I can get OMG in here. Let me try that. Actually, no, I don't think I can. So maybe this is one where, because I want 2 mid laners, I got to spend down a little bit on a less likely stack. I noticed that Sunning is quite cheap. In addition, their top laner, Ben, I guess he did start the last game, so people probably will identify him as the starter, but not an everyday player. So Angel. Then for my team spot, I can pick anyone. So this is a pretty nice spot. I don't mind. Alright, so I don't mind taking Tap Esports or Gen G, Damwon Gaming, because this is two underdogs that I'm stacking up. I feel like this is going to be less duplicated, so I don't mind taking the best team spot. Alright guys, one point I forgot to mention is one thing you should definitely avoid in League of Legends DFS is a game stack. So a game stack would be if I want, since I have Tap Esports and Team Wii is the highest scoring game, a game stack would look like if I had just stacked up both of these teams. So I'm going to kind of explain why this is not a good idea. Is because teams in League of Legends tend to average about 100 points more in wins and losses. Now we have seen exceptions to the rule, like we saw with Cloud9. I think it was 100 Thieves they were playing, and that game was another 100k to first tournament, and the guy who won it had 4 players from Cloud9, 2 from the opposing team, and a one-off. You do need a one-off from a different game to be a valid roster. But basically what you need to happen for that to work is there needs to be some reversal in the game, and it needs to be a long game. Reversals in League of Legends are somewhat uncommon, and especially in a best-of-3 series, you're really hoping a lot of things break your way for that to work. And I don't know if enough people realize that stacking up opposing sides of the same game is a bad strategy. So that is one strategy I would avoid. Alright guys, so I hope this helps you hand build a few lineups here for tonight's game, shooting for the 100k. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. I'm making this one free. I do daily videos for members as part of the premium package. So make sure to sign up so you can see them all, covering Counter-Strike and Rocket League as well. Alright guys, good luck, have fun.